We're back, baby.
How are ya?
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. How are it? Is the EriDan Film Festival for this Tuesday, November 29th. November 29th. It's a magical time. It is episode 130. We've
130.
30 times.
We're coming up on 3 years. You realize that, right?
Oh, I think you are correct about that.
I mean, 156 would be 3 years.
So it was June 8th, 2020 when we started this. So we got a while to get to 3 years, but we're solidly at 2.5. And we've done 161 movies. So there's going to be no movies left soon. At the rate we're going now, there'll be no movies left to watch. But until then, we're going to keep going.
I think we're going to be able to come up with movies.
You're probably right.
Because they keep making them. That's the other thing. There's a couple every week.
I don't know. Not as fast. No. But at the end of the day, this is the show for the people, by the people. And so, of course, as you can see below, we want you to join us, especially because tonight we will be choosing movies for the holiday season.
It's a holiday season.
This is kind of a big deal. So we want to invite you to join us tonight for a very magical, special journey around the theater. I got nothing.
Well, it's not just our movie Rushmore. It's also Schitt's Creek, the TV series.
This is very true. I don't want to rush more.
Don't rush less either.
We get to all this stuff.
Yes.
Something
I'm glad I'll be here. I'll be here the whole show tonight.
You're not going to leave. You're not going to suddenly leave the country.
I haven't left the country.
If you get a better offer, you're not going to.
All I can say is I flew so much that I now have MVP gold status with Alaska Airlines, which means I get to go to the lounge even if I just have a ticket for the back of the bus. I can go to the lounge whenever I want.
So like right now, if you wanted to leave right now, you could broadcast.
I left right now and I went to the airport. I could go sit in the Alaska lounge and use the free Wi-Fi and get a cappuccino.
Well, that's awesome. Well, don't do that. Wait till the end of the show. And then you can.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna bring some people in, shall I?
Bring them in.
Do you think we should? I think we should. Let's go.
Madam Librarian.
That's CCBC.
Hey, it's Stacy, who I saw taking a picture right before we got on.
I was taking a picture of the cat laying on the computer.
Oh, very nice. That's awesome. Yes, she's like, no, I will not have any of that. Thank you very much. All right. Well, speaking of cool cats.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
There's Dave.
Hey there.
Yeah. Oh, you're the lounge bouncer. Well, Alaska did just change their rule. That was quick. Alaska did just change their rule. As of February 1st, you can only use their lounge if you were first class over 2,100 mile flight, though. Before, if you had a first class ticket, even if it was an upgrade, like if you used a free upgrade, as long as your ticket said first class, you got in for free. Otherwise, it was like $30.
Wow.
Yeah. So getting the gold status is exciting.
I'm
just
excited.
Means I've done a lot of travel for work. That's all it means. I'm leaving again next week.
Wow.
I'll be doing Monday's show next week from Atlanta.
From Mylanta?
Mylanta. Speaking of Mylanta, no, I don't know.
Amanda's here.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello.
I love the music. What is it from for her intro?
It's Harry Potter-ish.
It's a Harry Potter knockoff.
It's a Harry Potter sound-alike that will not get you copyright infringing.
Correct. Very cool.
It's called Nary Potter.
We have our movie chooser is here for tonight, but she's not been with us enough to have an intro, so she gets this. It's Rebecca. Hello.
Hello.
Is she frozen?
She's so shocked.
No,
that that
she's
is
just
her.
really mad. But I think that she's
Hello,
frozen.
I thought I missed this yesterday.
Oh
No,
no,
I had to go to a funeral over the weekend, so
Oh,
we pushed
my.
it back.
You know what? I've realized because I was bad. I did not get to post this on the Facebook page,
Oh.
and I'm not sure Rebecca is in our little subgroup of conversation on the Facebook. So I need to get you added in there, Rebecca, so that you can keep up to date with all this.
We have a back channel.
There is.
Yes.
There's a private
EriDan behind the
going
scenes.
on. So we're glad that you found us and that you're here because this is your movie. This is very exciting. Yeah, I guess she's so excited. Let's dive in to Rushmore, which I did not update the graphic. I have a graphic that actually says that no, this is not PG from 2004. That would be very wrong if this was PG from 2004. In fact,
6 years off. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little off. So if you give me 1 second, I will point out that no, it's from 1998, and it's rated
Wow.
R.
Wow.
So how about that? Jason Schwartzman, Olivia Williams, Bill Murray, Brian Cox, a host of thousands. Directed by Wes Anderson, screenplay by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson, which I have no idea. That makes no sense.
Both of whose brothers are in this.
Well, maybe that makes sense.
There's a third Wilson brother. Who knew?
The third, the oldest one is he played the coach, the baseball coach.
Yeah.
So budget of 10 million, worldwide gross 19 million. Ratings are off the charts. 90-91 over at Rotten Tomatoes. Rebecca, why did you choose Rushmore for us to watch? There's no reason.
Well,
There she
I
is.
actually really like Wes Anderson. Oh,
Oh no.
there's a lag
There's
because
sun.
my internet, I think.
There you go. I think you're better now.
I like Wes Anderson. I like his style, his choice of actors, music. Is this really out of sync?
Yeah, it is. But
Just a
that's
little.
okay.
You are definitely. You're a
We
little,
can hear you.
Yeah, we're with you though.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I think it's a really funny movie, and I don't know. I just really enjoy it. I really like Bill Murray's character in the movie. I like the absurdity of the whole situation. That there's this teenager who is basically become best friends with these two adults and is like controlling their lives, and really interesting.
It is an interesting movie. I did not know what to expect. I had never seen it before. I think, in fact, I believe everybody hadn't seen it before except for Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It was one of those movies I started watching going, oh yeah, I've seen this before. But I didn't know I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all Wes Anderson's movies. I've never, for example, I've never seen Bottle Rocket, but I've seen almost all of them.
I've seen many, but I had never seen this one. And Adam is in the comments. He says that he's on location from New Orleans.
Ooh.
So there you go. So Adam is there.
So Eric, Wes Anderson's a year older than us.
Really?
I think he's been around forever. I mean,
So
he has been, obviously, because he was born a year before us. So technically, in our lives, he's been around forever.
Around for your whole life.
But I didn't realize, like, I just felt like he was not somebody of our age. That I feel like his movies have been around since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
I like every Wes Anderson movie I've seen, so I do keep meaning to see the couple that I haven't. I'm not sure what's my favorite. This one's certainly in the upper half. I think I like the Grand Budapest Hotel a bit more. Maybe Moonrise Kingdom, but they're all good.
I'll admit I didn't get this movie. I liked the first act, right? Like I was intrigued. The first act, the whole setup, the ridiculousness of him in the school, and then it just lost me. It did not hold my attention. I don't know, and it wasn't that I was distracted or doing anything else, but for me it didn't land for me. Like I never got fully engaged, and I don't know why.
I liked the movie. I don't think I loved it, and part of it, I think, for me was that I'm used to when there's like an unlikable character, by the end of the movie, they kind of go on an arc and become likable. And I really never liked the main character, even by the end. Like it took him a really long time to actually have any meaningful character growth. And even still, it's like, that doesn't mean he's not fun to watch, but I feel like I had more of a disconnect with the characters, but I do like the humor in the movie, and I liked all the absurd plays and that were being put on. So like there was a lot to like, but I don't think it was one
a lot for a 15-year-old with the smoking, and drinking, and the going after the teacher. And
for the 1999 MTV Movie Awards, and I haven't watched the extra yet. Apparently, they did reenact. They did some of the plays that he put on. And one of them was The Truman Show, so I've been meaning to watch that one.
Oh, jeez.
I will agree that Wes Anderson is... You either like or you don't like Wes Anderson, I think is what it comes down to. I feel the same way about Quentin Tarantino. There are certain directors that are... the Coen brothers, I think, is this way to a degree as well. You either like their style or you don't. And if you do... Even if the movie is not one of their best works, you're still drawn into it because you still appreciate the craftsmanship and the way it's done. And if you don't, it's never going to work for you.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the Grand Budapest Hotel before, and I remember at least liking that a bit.
Well, that one's a bit more... This was only his second movie, I think. And as he went on, his humor became a little more... not every movie, but his humor sometimes became a little more over the top and a little more slapstickish in a way. And it's a bit of a change. It's still very much his style movie, but there's definitely a bit of a different tone to it.
Yeah.
I am just still in shock that Jason Schwartzman is Talia Shire's son. That makes him a Coppola.
I don't know his mother. That name's not
Talia Shire.
I don't know who that
is. She was Adrian in Rocky.
Adrian,
which I never saw.
You never saw Rocky?
Never.
No, she was one of the Corleone sisters in Godfather.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Never saw that either.
Same.
All right then. Academy Award nominated
movies for the future.
Yep.
This
That's
movie,
a Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
No.
That's right.
This movie, I didn't know what to expect because we watched Moonrise Kingdom, and that was enjoyable in a weird, odd way.
All his movies are a little weird.
Yeah, and Emma is our second daughter is a big. I don't know if she's a huge fan of Wes Anderson, but she does like his movies. And I said, Emma, I hate this movie. Mom, you just don't understand it.
And I admit, I don't think I understood this movie.
I don't think so either.
I was left out of whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
Right. Like I left with more questions than I had answered. You know. But I'm not sure I even care enough to ask the questions.
Right? Because what question would you ask except, huh?
Huh?
Yeah. And I loved his dad, and I was really irritated with his behavior toward his dad. To me, this character is a sociopath who's going to hurt someone, is what I was getting from it the whole time. And I really thought that there was going to be some...
Well, he was to a degree. I mean, he cut the brakes on the guy's car. I mean, there's no question that there's a bit of over the top here.
Yeah.
It was... I'll go here. So, my assumption is that the play at the end of the movie is supposed to have some symbolism to it that I didn't get if there was supposed to be anything in there that I was supposed to get beyond the fact that it was just a play with a lot of violence and a lot of stuff that I didn't seem to get. The play was just like a, huh? Mm-hmm. And then it was over. And it's like, I don't know if I needed that.
If there was deep symbolism in the play, I missed it, but I actually really liked the play at the end just because it was so over the top and absurd, and I like that type of humor, and them having to put on the goggles and the headphones because it was so loud, and I
did smile at that.
Yeah.
There were pieces in the play that connected to the various characters that were part of his life. I mean, he was set in Vietnam, and they had established earlier in the film that Bloom had been in Vietnam. You know, there were connections to each character in some way or another. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but that's what I took away from it.
Yeah. So Adam says he likes Life Aquatic and Moonrise Kingdom.
I love Moonrise Kingdom, not quite as much Life Aquatic. And the Royal Tenenbaums is a very interesting one too.
Oh, that's him too.
Not watched that either.
Spy versus Spy. I'll have to bring that up to Wade because he loves Spy versus Spy.
No.
Spy versus Spy is more like the fashion in Schitt's Creek, which we'll get to, because there's scenes where Moira is wearing very much solely. There are a lot of black and white fashion, not just from Moira.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Well, I mean, Wes Anderson's next two things look pretty amazing. Asteroid City. It's got Scarlett Johansson.
No.
Jeff Goldblum, Bryan Cranston,
Very popular. Matt
Dillon.
Well, he always, after his first few, I mean, not quite so much in this movie.
Steve Carell.
I mean, I had Bill Murray, obviously, but by at least a couple of movies after this, he has huge names in small roles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he always does, because he has
Bill Murray.
These people who just line up to say, "Yeah, I'll take a part. Just ask anytime."
Bill Murray got paid like $9,000 for this movie.
Yeah.
That's
What?
Yeah, he took scale.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the budget was $10 million. I mean, I
It's
like
still
since I was
$9,000.
I was updating the template from last week where we had spent $130 million on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'm going to remove $120 million from last week's movie.
And most of that was probably in the sets for the stage shows he put on, because those are some impressive sets.
They were.
The train going by in the background.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that too.
And then he also has the wonderful story of Henry Sugar coming out on Netflix with Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know why I said it that way.
I also really like both of his animated ones. I really like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, I was just going to say the first Wes Anderson movie I saw was Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
Which was
Maybe that's where Emma got her love, because I brought that home and went, "What is this?" And
She said it just like that.
yeah,
But there is a common thread there, though, because you mentioned, Amanda, about you're used to a story arc where an unlikable character comes to some redemption. If you think about it, really, you know, the main character in Fantastic Mr. Fox doesn't really redeem himself terribly much.
But there are a lot of very likable characters in Fantastic
Yes, there were.
Fox. There really
That was
weren't
an adaptation of a book, so I think maybe
Yeah.
that was part of that too.
Yeah, and there really weren't. So, like, it wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
if
this
some of the
movie didn't have
characters
a lot of
were
likable
unlikable.
characters.
Yeah, everyone was pretty. Like, the only kind of likable character was the school teacher in like this movie. Everyone else was kind of. Eh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like Dirk.
Dirk was fine. No problems with Dirk.
So Ray Pepper, who usually watches Clutch Radio, it's weird to see him on the movie show.
It's true.
His big comments covering everybody's face.
Oh, there you go.
Also, you movie buffs, as important as the movie is where you see it. Wait, as important as the movie is where you see the movie, there's a place only 30 seats. They serve you drinks and dinner. You get a cute 2-seat pod type thing for privacy. Never anyone rude and always quiet. As important as the movie is where you watch. I drive from Gig Harbor to see Epic. I don't know what Epic is, but
that sounds awesome.
yeah. Little
It's,
private
yeah.
theater. Ray, tell me where that is. Maybe we'll do a screening of the sitcom there.
An intimate theater.
No, we
Yeah.
don't want intimate. We want tight and filled. Never mind.
There you go.
iPic in Redmond. Oh, it's iPic. Gotcha. Epic.
Okay.
My
Well, that's in
favorite,
Washington.
though, my
Right.
favorite of his extracurriculars, without question, was Bombardment Society founder. I just love the scene where they're going through all of his extracurriculars and clubs and everything.
Well,
Yeah,
it's-
that was amazing.
and we briefly talked about this last week, which was like that was all kind of funny, but it was all the kind of thing where you go, that's funny.
I laughed out loud quite a few times.
For me, it was all just like, oh yeah, it's cute. Oh yeah, it's funny.
Wasn't that all in the trailer? I watched the trailer too, and it's like that whole thing was in the trailer, I feel like.
But what are you watching the trailer for? I
Never
mean, it's
know.
only a 93-minute movie.
Well, it's the Cliff Notes.
I like to watch everything.
So I
On a
watch
tiny
the
screen.
trailer until it's over.
Well, speaking of until it's over, I think we should start scoring this. It's 20 past, as they say.
Oh my goodness. Then we should do this button.
I didn't do it right. I was so close.
I
almost had it right.
That is a flaw with this the StreamYard, is it would be nice to know whose face you were putting up into the center.
Well, I kind of guessed. You can kind of pull it.
Yeah, but it is a wild guess.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca.
You're muted.
It could
To
be.
wait for the lag to catch up.
There she is. Oh, there it is.
Okay. So I liked this movie is always entertaining for me. I like that all the elements that I look for and that I love when I'm in a Wes Anderson movie. The music is emotive. It has slow motion shots. It has overhead shots. It has title scenes. In this movie, it was the months of the year on a theater curtain. So all of these different elements added up for me to be a really enjoyable movie. And because I like Wes Anderson's movies so much, I will give this a 90.
Nice. Or nice.
This is going to be lower.
AC.
Oh yeah, it's going to be lower. I'm really sorry. This is going to be I think the lowest I've scored a movie.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Because I just couldn't stand this movie. I'm sorry, Rebecca, I really am. The number that kept rolling in my head as I watched it never changed. And it was a 47.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had 47 going through your head.
Yeah. I'm like, this movie's getting a 47. And it just... There were so many elements that I didn't like. First of all, the main character did not even closely resemble a 15-year-old. And that creeped me out.
He was only 18.
Really?
Yeah.
He looked 30. He did. And I didn't even look that up to find out because he just creeped me out. So they really did a good casting job of making him creepy. And then I did like all of his clubs and stuff. That was funny. Like Eric said, oh, that's funny. You know, I liked the scene when they were, I think it was the kite flying scene at the school or at the, I don't know. I'm not even sure where they were. I kind of like that. But I was really creeped out by his whole love thing for this teacher who was so stupid. Sorry. Him, he's a kid. She's stupid. I don't know. What can I say? I did not like this movie. I'll have to ask Emma what she thinks the movie is about.
That might be interesting. That's more than fair.
Oh, let's go to Dave, the Bombardment Society founder.
Yeah. I like I said, I've never seen a Wes Anderson movie I haven't liked. I've seen some, like I know that The Life Aquatic is not one of my favorites, but I still enjoy it. They're always interesting. I always enjoy watching them. Some I won't go back and rewatch, but this one definitely I will again sometime, probably a few years from now. I thought Brian Cox was so good in this too. I mean, that was such a fun role. You know, he's so huge now for being on Succession. For him to be the dean of the school and just having this constant, like when he's had his stroke and Max walks in and he goes, what do you want? That's the first words he said. There were definitely scenes I was laughing out loud, and that was one of them.
So look at Stacy laughing. The 47.
I'm laughing at Dave reminded me. That's all. I didn't laugh out loud then.
I did. I thought that scene was very good, and to me, a character doesn't have to be likable for me to like them in the movie. And he's not a terribly likable character in many ways. Now, you excuse it to a degree because he's a kid, and he's a kid who's clearly been, you know, he feels like he's finally found a place where he fits in, and he knows he can't stay there forever. It reminds me sometimes of I think we've all sometimes known people who never leave academia. You know, they land in a grad school, or they land in a and they never leave because they can't picture life outside of that environment. And that's who he was. Rushmore was his life, and he couldn't, you know, he was just so, you know, distraught about the possibility of being kicked out that he was just grasping at straws. And that's what I think led him to this unrequited love with the teacher, who was also excellent in Counterpart, Dan, which of course you watched recently. She's really good actress. Again, not my favorite Wes Anderson, but definitely upper half. I really like it. It's a solid. It sort of reminded me in some ways of, not in style or anything, but Nightmare Before Christmas, because he and Burton also are very idiosyncratic directors with a very distinct style, and not my favorite of theirs, but still very enjoyable. So I give this the same score I gave that, which was an 85.
85. Very nice. Very nice. Right. And I will, before Dan moves on to the next person, I will point out that yes, Stacy, that was your lowest score ever. Your next to lowest score was Somewhere in Time.
Now, you rated us below Somewhere in Time.
So you've given Somewhere in Time a 55.
Yeah.
So I was a bit conflicted about this movie, I guess. I liked some things in it. I found other things less enjoyable. I agree with my dad that it doesn't. I agree that a character doesn't have to be likable to still enjoy them, but I just found him frustrating to watch at some level. Like the level to which, up until like the end of the movie, he was still like, not the very end, but like 15 minutes from the end, he was still trying to get with the teacher, and like that kind of plot line is like, can we just move past this? He's like, no, this is going to be there the entire movie. He's really not going to evolve past that. Just kind of wasn't my favorite. But I did enjoy a lot of the humor in the movie. For me, when there are those moments where you're like, oh, that's funny, I actually like, that's kind of sometimes my favorite type of humor. I like those kind of dumb, silly things. So like the style of humor in the movie resonated with me. I just wish the characters had been better. So I'm going to go with a 73.
All right. We don't have any numbers in the comments yet. So we need Adam, Ray, if you've seen the movie. I know my mom watched it. Anyone else? Yeah. You know, from a movie standpoint, I think this is a good movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it for certain reasons or another reason, but just from an actual, I think it's an interesting movie. Although it wasn't memorable enough that I realized I'd seen it before. And I might have seen it in the theater, which means it's been 25 years. I don't think I'll wait another 25 to see it again.
But you won't remember if you did or not.
By then, I probably won't. 25 years from now, I won't remember anything. I'll be like you.
Oh, my gosh.
I won't remember last week.
I don't remember.
I don't know that there's anything that a Wilson brothers in that I don't like. I like either the Wilson brothers, and now I got the third bonus Wilson.
Reagan thought that he was a Wilson.
I didn't even know there was a third bonus Wilson.
He looks more like Owen than Luke, but yeah, you can tell he's a Wilson.
Like So I'm going to give it a solid 87.
Wow. That's solid.
And then we'll go over to Eric. I think I have a text from my mother here real quick. Hold on. My mother says, I don't get the reason for this movie, but I'm older than the rest of you. I give it a 50.
Wow.
That might be my mom's lowest score ever.
Wow.
I don't get the reason for this movie. That's a great comment.
I love it. And I agree.
She also gave a 50 to The Great Santini.
Wade's movie. Yeah.
Wow.
But yes,
I think that's the furthest off my mom and I've ever been on a film.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, one more thing I want to say.
Please do.
On Amazon, it was $3.99 to rent.
Mm-hmm.
It was $4.99 to buy. And it's like that $1. I'm like, because I could own it and I could, and I don't know why I just hit the rent button. I sort of just owned it. That way I could watch it again in 25 years.
This was far from your mother's lowest score.
Really?
You gave Running Scared a 20.
Oh my God.
So that was far
He did
from
not know what Deuteronomy was.
Deuteronomy. Exactly. Switch clams.
So you remember that?
Oh, I totally remember that. That's
Oh
ingrained.
yes.
Oh yes. Yeah, I we've covered this. This isn't Wes Anderson. Apparently, isn't my guy. I kind of wanted to like it,
Anderson.
but I felt the whole time like this movie is trying to be very smart, and I feel very dumb while watching this movie because I don't feel like I'm getting why it's smart.
Right.
And I felt like it was supposed to be smart, and I wasn't getting it. So it's like, well, am I dumb or is this movie dumb? So I'm of course going to say the movie was dumb. Because, that's my opinion. Yeah, I get why people like it. I understand that. It's just not for me. And it is the kind of movie that I wonder as I think about it more and more time passes. And if I do happen to see it again, I'm sure my score would improve. But that doesn't matter for tonight. So I'm giving it a 59. So farthest from my lowest score as well. But I ended up at a 59. So then we'll see what Adam has to say. And I think we have some other people who weren't able to be here tonight. And so if they submit a score by end of the evening, we'll get their numbers in there too.
One little bit of trivia,
please,
is so Conan O'Brien now has a new channel on Sirius XM. I think it's 106, Team Coco Radio or something like that. And he just does podcasts. He has interviews. They have some clips from his shows. They have some clips from his comedy tours. And he was doing an interview with Jeff Goldblum, and he was talking about different directorial styles. I guess, talking about working for Taika Waititi, for example, where he's encouraged to improvise a lot and there's tons of improv. He was saying, as opposed to Wes Anderson, who doesn't want you to change a "the" or an "and."
Right.
So he's very much like a Billy Wilder's type of writer-director who, this is, you are the actor, you have your place. This is my domain here as the writer and director.
Right.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
I have Wade's score. I forgot about it. It's a 75.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Bumps it up a little bit.
Yeah. His comments, though, it became overly annoying by the end, over the top. But he still gave it a 75.
There you go.
So,
well, that's
we must have lost Adam to Mardi Gras. Oh, wait, it's not Mardi Gras.
Very
yet.
possible. We'll come back
Tuesday.
We'll come back to if Adam jumps in with a score later.
He can always text you one or something.
Move on. But ultimately, a good experience. So now things really get exciting as we.
There's his score. He just posted his score.
What was that? Did he post his score?
Yep.
Whoa.
There it is.
There it is. Whoa. There we go.
Well, it's not labeled a dark comedy. It plays one in parts. When I see this movie, there's moments where I laugh out loud, like the dynamic between Max and Blue. A solid 90.
And playing the part of Adam this week is Stacy.
It's huge, and I've got to fix my.
See, we just offset each other.
Wow.
I feel better now.
Or did Rebecca hack Adam's account and she just typed that? Was it the same score?
Very clever.
Well, Adam's only off 2. That might be the closest Adam and I have ever been.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Within 3 of Adam.
Wow.
Oh, that's actually a lot. Hold on, I'm trying to fix my spreadsheet. Got a little messed up here, so
wasn't me.
A quick fix. No, well, you're partially responsible, but it's not really. I was cleaning up the spreadsheet because I knew somebody else was going to be in there, and so I tried to clean it up a little bit, and inadvertently messed up some of the way the averages worked. And so, but I got that fixed now, so I actually do have a number. Let me get this where it belongs, and we'll take a look. And of course, as I said, if somebody who, if you're watching this or you're joining late, we will take scores through the rest of the night.
Operators are standing by.
Absolutely, right?
Until midnight Pacific time.
For the first 200 callers.
Right,
by the way, on StreamYard, they have this new service. We can do like a webinar for up to 250 people.
Oh.
And I'm not even sure what that means, but maybe we'll do...
I don't know what that means.
Maybe this is how we'll do the sitcom screening. We'll do it as a
there
streaming
you go.
thing.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh, Cody just popped in.
Is that his best William Shatner con?
That's awesome.
Well, Rebecca, Cody says hello.
Clearly.
Cody, did you watch the Rushmore?
Yeah.
Do you have a score?
Rushmore?
I'm gonna guess he did.
You might have watched the wrong movie.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want the score? Do we want the score? Or do we want to come back to the score just in case somebody else shares the score? Okay, I'll share where we're at right now. Currently, Rushmore comes in right below While You Were Sleeping and above
of page 2.
Gun.
Okay.
Which honestly, I kind of agree with the above Top Gun.
Wow.
Totally,
That would make Wade happy.
I'm totally good with that. No.
So
Cody
speaking of While You Were Sleeping,
oh yes,
the
please.
stream on my YouTube page of the episode where we watch While You Were streaming,
Sleeping.
While you were streaking.
While you were streaming.
While You Were Sleeping.
Oh,
has been viewed 19,000 times. The next closest one has been viewed like 170 times, not 170,000.
Someone must have posted a link
19,000.
somewhere.
There's no description. There are no hashtags. There's nothing. I have no idea why it said so many views.
Wow.
weird.
Well, it's the power of Sandra Bullock, obviously.
It
Such a
must be.
compelling episode.
You know what it is?
We're gonna solely watch Sandra Bullock's movies all next year.
It's Peter Gallagher's eyebrows. That's what's doing.
Well, we have Eugene Levy's eyebrows coming up in a second here, and that's a pretty good challenger.
That is true. That is true. But first, we need to do this because it is time to choose movies for next week.
Feliz Navidad.
Oh, but wait.
Festive.
We have we have another person
That's
coming in,
actually
Eric.
really great. I love that graphic so much.
Eric, speaking of festive,
Yeah. Oh, did I? Oh, wow. I missed that totally. Holy cow. I was so distracted.
Cody has not been here in forever.
No, I have not.
A couple of weeks.
In my
Because
defense, I haven't been anywhere in forever.
Well, that's fair.
Yep.
Well, that's
Other
because
than-
of that hat.
Why are you
He
wearing
said
that
festive,
hat?
so I ran and got a hat. So
Oh, is that why?
Ah.
I was afraid it was cold there.
no, oh my gosh, it was 76 today.
He's not heating his place anymore, so
No, I wish it was cold here.
By the way, another thing we can do now that we couldn't do before, we can have 12 people on the air live at one time. now.
Whoa.
We can put 12. So we've got
What was it
5
before?
more.
Eight?
once those it's a
was
lot
10
groupies
before.
start joining.
And
I'll tell you, it's going to go off the charts.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. Dan, you actually missed this discussion last week.
Oh,
But I made the executive decision that we're going to do a double feature for the holiday movies next week. But we're going to spin the wheel twice so that more people get a chance to choose a holiday movie since there are so few weeks in December. So while
no one person picks a double feature.
that is correct.
Gotcha.
Because they already have a theme. Oh, there's Wade. He made it in. Get him on that list. Awesome. All right. I think I've got everybody on here.
Speaking of weather,
If you're in the
Adam says
comments, if you're in the
weather sucks
comments,
here.
you don't see your name here.
Muggy. Wow.
warm
If
and
you're in
muggy.
the comments,
That
you
was
don't
my
see your
nickname in
name.
high school.
Oh, no. Oh, your mom is in the comments.
My mom.
That was the original line for EriDan was warm and muggy.
Thought it was warm and moist.
Oh,
Ooh. Jeez.
I'm
right.
warm and I'm moist. And we are.
warm and moist in the morning. B94 FM.
Wow. That's
Moist and wait, moist and warm, moist and warm in the morning.
that's
In the morning.
really
B94 FM. That
wow.
was the Quinn and Banana theme. Got to have that noise if you do a morning show.
Yeah. So,
It's the morning zoo.
so I think I've got everybody's name on here. If your name is not on here, or if your name is on here and you don't want to be, this is your time to yell and scream. We ask that you pick a holiday movie. We will then make sure that it's available somewhere for people to watch. Holiday can be any holiday between Thanksgiving and Groundhog's Day. No, somewhere in there.
Put Reagan's name on there, please.
Oh, of course.
Reagan.
Didn't know she was present.
She is.
Hiding. She's hiding off screen. That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. All right. So we're gonna spin twice tonight. I think we're ready. Are we ready? Is everybody ready? I guess we're ready to go.
Oh, this is
All right. Who's gonna pick our first holiday movie of 2022? That honor goes to Cody.
Oh, it was almost Adam.
I show up once and I win the gold.
That's crazy.
It's our way of forcing you to be back next week.
That's fine.
true.
Next week, hang on. Next week? Oh yeah, it's not my birthday week. We're good. I'll be here.
Where else would you want to spin? You can hold off on your answer, and we'll spin again.
No, I already have it.
You know your answer?
Well, is it? I don't. It's a Christmas movie.
Well, Die Hard. Think about it. Think about it, and let's see who you're paired with.
Let's see who you're meeting in the steel cage match here.
That's right, exactly. Because maybe they'll have the same thought, and then you'll
they won't.
So we'll find out. Your Cody is getting paired with.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so honored. It's such a thrill to be honored.
Cody versus Eric.
There we go.
Is my movie a Christmas movie?
Is my movie a Christmas movie? Well, you're gonna have to tell us, and then we'll let the judges decide.
Eric code.
Eric, I'm gonna text it to you. I want your input.
I don't think Somewhere in Time is a Christmas movie.
That's very true.
Not Christmas, holiday. It's a holiday because I always celebrate when it's over.
What is it called?
Oh my gosh, Cody.
I know what it is. You guys don't understand. I just got home from work. I was supposed to record a podcast tonight, but our stuff isn't working, so I hopped on here instead.
I totally get that, getting home from work.
All right. Oh my goodness gracious.
What's his name?
So you know the actor's name. You don't know what its name is.
Or if it's a Christmas movie.
It's definitely a Christmas movie, kind of.
I just kind of don't
It's
want
definitely a Christmas movie.
I have it here. Hang on.
I don't want to share mine yet until I find out what his is. This is so
It's
funny.
a trivia question. Okay, so give us a hint. Name one actor who's in it.
He couldn't.
It's that guy. The guy with
the
thing.
holiday. It's that
Yeah.
holiday, and there's some
guy
snow.
Star
hair
Wars.
or not.
He's thinking Empire Strikes Back. There's tons of snow. You know.
Did he go to Google it? His
Magical
computer is
creatures.
right in front of him.
You got a computer right there.
He said he was going to go get it, so I don't know if he's running to grab like, the DVD.
He's going to come back with an 8mm reel.
He just went,
Anything's correct,
he just went to Target.
Adam says his losing streak is full intact. It's early. It's early.
He's seeing how fast Amazon can deliver.
I mean, we could do 2 movies a week all month long and then really expect people to watch a lot of movies this month. I don't think Cody's coming back.
It's not where he thought it was. I've lived it.
Clearly.
He got lost in the move.
Oh, it's fantastic. He's actually on his way back to Erie.
Do you have any thoughts, Eric? Are you mulling over some possibilities?
No, I know 100% what my choice is.
Ooh, okay.
There he is.
There's no doubt. My choice is solidified and has been solidified.
Unless
since
Cody picks the same movie.
I don't think we've watched.
I don't know because there's no question about the holidayness of my movie.
Okay, hang on. Eric, I'm sending you a message.
Through the mail. I have to wait till the mail gets
He
here.
just sent you a telegram.
All right.
That's a Christmas movie, right?
What? I've never heard of this movie.
I figured as much.
Never heard of this movie. What are you?
Wait.
Oh,
I'm looking up.
Wait, what movie? Where is it?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
He texted it to him.
It takes place around Christmas, but I don't think it's a Christmas
What
movie.
is the movie,
Just
Cody?
tell us the
Enough with
movie.
mystery.
It's called The Resurrection of Gavin Stone.
Not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Reagan
no.
says no.
Yeah, I remember that they had the Christmas play, but I couldn't remember how much it had to do with Christmas. And then I just looked it up, and now I remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna say unlikely.
Okay, hang on.
You have another choice. Is the real question. Now he needs time.
A few minutes.
I need a few minutes. All right. Well, I will reveal mine, and I will make a caveat that unfortunately the version that is streaming for free isn't the version I would recommend, but is totally acceptable if that's the version that you need to watch because it is currently on Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, and it's Miracle on 31st Street.
Oh,
yeah.
It's got to be the original.
So obviously, 1947. Please do not watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do not watch.
You should watch the new one too.
If you have to watch the colorized version, okay, but don't watch the Sebastian Cabot remake or the.
And the version definitely the version on Disney Plus is the colorized version. But that's totally acceptable.
It's still the same movie. It's just been messed
and
with.
it's not bad. It's not poorly colorized. So I feel like you're okay with that. I'm gonna check.
Adam says, "Oh no."
Oh, Adam. Come on.
no.
Can you just change his name to Scrooge McJones?
Oh no.
This is my mom's favorite Christmas movie ever.
It is a must-watch every year in our house.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorites, and I haven't watched it for a while. So
Is that on the list already, Eric?
Is that there is no list. So there is no. This is just and we have not watched that.
We haven't?
No. No, that is definitely not a movie we have watched before.
I thought for sure we watched that last year, but okay.
No, last year we watched Arthur Christmas, The Holiday, Love Actually, It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, and A Christmas Story.
All right, that's mine. 100%.
100%. All right, let's find out where it's streaming.
You can do whatever.
Hold on, let me find out where it's streaming. Let me see.
If you want to get the picture of it first or whatever.
Let's get up the picture and make sure that it's got to be streaming somewhere.
It has to be. I'll look right now.
Very confident.
It's gonna be. Is it Hey Vern? It's Christmas.
No.
You guessed. It's almost as bad.
Hey, Vern.
It says
The Santa Claus 2.
Holy, available for streaming. Nobody should have any trouble finding their copy of Jingle All the Way.
Oh no.
Reagan said she knew that would be it.
Jingle All the Way.
Interesting.
It's Arnold in a Christmas
Red
theme.
Yeah,
Have a Merry Christmas.
that is my favorite all-time Christmas movie, hands down.
Wow.
So I tried to watch this because Robert Conrad of The Wild Wild West is in it, and I couldn't do it. So I'll try again. I will try.
That's because you're not in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, Adam.
I think Adam's still talking about Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
he's
know how
so
Adam feels
good.
about Jingle All the Way.
That's probably a miss with Adam too.
It's hard to tell with Adam.
I know.
You think you're going to get in there, and then he's like,
Yeah, I would not have pegged him as a Wes Anderson guy, but he is. So you know.
yeah,
There you go.
interesting.
It
He's
does
a
look like it's
complicated guy.
Hi,
everybody,
Well, thank you very much. Amazon.
Yes, he likes Turbo Man.
Weird commercial. So Amazon Prime is streaming the black and white version of Miracle on 34th Street. So just depending on what your preference is, I'll watch it twice.
Yeah,
On your way to watching Jingle
Or
All
have
the
it
Way.
on simultaneously on 2 screens.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. So
when I was in Pittsburgh, TNT was playing 24 hours of Christmas Vacation. So I left it on my TV and I rewatched little chunks of it throughout the day. It was kind of nice.
Listen, it was for me, it was between there we go. It's Arnold.
See?
For me, it was between this one and the Hallmark Christmas Shoes movie, because that one makes me cry every time.
Which Hallmark one?
I'm glad you picked Jingle All the Way then.
Christmas shoes.
Yeah, that
Christmas,
one.
That's the one?
Yeah.
Christmas shoes.
Is that the one?
Because the
Word
song
Lost?
got to me growing up too.
Is it with Robbie Benson, or is it
No, I think the other one.
what's his
Good.
name?
Good. Glad this one was chosen then, much as I'm not a fan.
There are still 3 more opportunities for people to choose holiday movies. There will be 3
Wow, I
more
cannot
weeks.
believe that's where we've
Rob Lowe,
landed.
is he the one in that?
Kinda crazy.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh goodness.
It's crazy. Well, that's crazy. All right. Well, it is time for the moment the rest of you are all prepared for that I am in no way prepared for. Wait, there it is. There's the button. There it is. All right.
I do love the scan line going down in your video, by the way. That is just...
It's brilliant.
It is.
I don't know. It makes me cringe a little bit. I'm like, all right. I apologize. I am completely out of this conversation.
Wow.
I know. I failed. I failed terribly. My heart wasn't in it, but I did have an amazing amount of technical difficulties here at the homestead. So yeah, it just didn't happen for me. But I will let those, of course. And this is Amanda. This was your choice.
Yes, it was.
Oh wait, we have another guest, Eric.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow! Look at this. It's very
Arnold.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I gotta find the button. Here we go.
Ooh.
Wow.
Nice intro.
I know. I got my own intro. I feel fancy now.
The least we can do. The least we can do. And never let it be said we won't do the very least we can do.
That's what. Yeah, we commit to that.
We commit to always doing the very least we can do.
It's a noble bar to aim for.
It is.
Well, talk to us. Schitt's Creek. What's the deal? Why do people want? Convince me that even though this month is over, I need to start watching this show.
Yeah.
I'm waiting if anybody can motivate me enough to get past my qualms. My wife has watched this show multiple times with me around, and her quote was, you've watched that. You come in, you make some comments about you don't like this kind of humor, and you leave. And I'm like, yeah, that's the show I thought it was. So here we are.
So your wife likes it, huh?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Totally right up her alley. Totally her line of humor.
Mm-hmm. Well,
all right.
So as the one who picked this show, this was a show I think I watched for the first time last year. At the time it was on Netflix. And which was, hi, I'm not Jen.
The thing moved. Everything moved.
Yeah.
You were at the bottom before.
You get Jen staring confused.
You were at the bottom before, and I grabbed the wrong square.
Yeah, no, I got swapped. No worries. So yeah, I watched it for the first time last year. I don't know how it got on my radar because I really wasn't aware of it while it was airing. It was just one that I had heard about and decided to binge watch on Netflix. When I started it, season 1, I was like, oh, this is a fine show. I guess I'll keep watching. And by the time it got into like seasons 2 or 3, I was really hooked and kind of watched through the whole thing in a matter of a couple of weeks. And this show just really kind of hits everything for me. It's a really nice mix of, I love all the characters. They start out, going back to Rushmore, where the characters did not really have a growth arc. I love how all of the characters in Schitt's Creek grow over the course of the series. They start out being extremely unlikable in the first episode, and they grow to all get used to the town and develop relationships and really care about each other and other people in the town. It's a really nice mix of heartfelt interpersonal moments and absurd comedy, and it's a comedy style that I really enjoy. So I just love the show.
The one character I think didn't necessarily grow is Roland.
Roland was already pretty settled into
his name's Roland Shit.
I mean, I like I mentioned before, I watched the first season and maybe 2 or 3 episodes into the second season several years ago and enjoyed it, but wasn't compelled enough to keep watching it. I never consciously decided to stop watching it. I never got back to it. So I did watch the episodes that Amanda picked for this and did enjoy all of them. I was initially drawn to it because, and I thought of this, Eric, when we first started the video and you and Dan came on, you went, "How are ya?" Because Eugene Levy used to do Bobby Bittman on SCTV, and his whole stick was, "How are ya?" He was this really cheesy nightclub comic. And so I first went into it because of Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, both of whom I absolutely loved on SCTV. And Chris Elliott, who I loved on the old Letterman show, Late Night with David Letterman. So with those 3 going in, it's like, wow, I have to at least give this a chance. And I did enjoy it. But again, I agree with Amanda. I think it probably hit its stride after I stopped watching because, and I've done that with other shows too. I did the exact same thing with Parks and Rec. I watched the first season and a little bit into the second season and went, okay, and then just never got back to it. And people raved to me about seasons 4 and 5 and how it was the best show on television. And it's like, okay. I think probably it got on your radar, Amanda, because last year it was they were up for tons of awards. They were nominated for they were doing their final season. They were nominated for, a huge number of Emmys and won most of them. And so it was a lot in the news, and that may have been what brought it to your attention.
Yeah, Amanda's the one who brought this show to my attention. I think I'd heard about it. I'd seen it on various shows. Like, the name was notable. So, like, I'd heard it with kind of the weird show where some shows felt like they had to censor the name and some didn't.
Yeah, it
was mostly how I knew it before. And then last year when Amanda was getting really into it, she introduced it to me at some point, and I was like, okay, yeah, I generally have similar tastes to Amanda, so I'll watch it. I put it on in the background while I was like job searching last year, like last summer, and first episode I remember thinking like, okay, this is kind of what I expected it would be. Nothing really that interesting. Like, it didn't draw me in for the first few episodes, which I think is common with that kind of show because you really need to get to know the characters first. And the whole point is like character growth, and they haven't done that yet. So, but it was one that I kept watching because, again, similar taste to Amanda. And I was like, well, if she really likes it, there's probably something that like comes along later. And yeah, this show sucked me in after I got through like a couple seasons. I just binged it again in a few weeks. It was just like constantly on in the background for me. The character growth is really notable, I think, in this show for how like believable it is. It's not like an instant thing, and it makes a lot of sense given the context. And I think they do a really good job of, again, a lot of the characters are not very likable in the beginning, but they do a good job of actually making them, even when they're unlikable, making them fun to watch. And there are likable characters even at the beginning when like the main characters may not be your favorite. They are aware of that. And so like they throw in other characters and other things to draw you into it. And yeah, the humor just like, it's my kind of humor in a lot of ways. And it also makes for really good gifts. I think like everyone in my office loves this show. And so like we use a lot of Schitt's Creek gifts in our chats.
GIFs, not gifts.
Yeah.
Oh no, GIF.
Yes, okay, that makes sense. I was like, what are you gifting people?
I give everyone a copy of the show. No, it's a little weird. Yeah. Okay,
I've given one disc out of the full set, so it's really confusing. But
It's a wonderful show. It makes great gifts.
I mean, it does make a good gift, I guess.
Well, it also I like it's a family affair because you've got Dan Levy, obviously Eugene Levy's son, wrote it. And his sister is Sarah, who plays Twyla.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not playing his sister, which I thought was interesting.
And Dan and Eugene co-created the show.
Yeah. And it's a little bit, when I first heard about it, like, isn't that Arrested Development? Because it's a rich family that they lost everything, except they didn't have a town that they bought as a joke, which is a weird premise, but it worked. And I thought that Stevie, Emily Hampshire, love her.
Yeah,
she's so funny. And
well, she was the ground. She was, she was the one character that grounds you when the wild characters that are the family are floating around. Yeah,
yeah, she was really good. She was in the TV show version of 12 Monkeys.
When it's time to lay.
I don't know what that was.
Sounded like Moira Rose.
It was Moira.
Moira.
Yeah, Moira Rose.
I did watch the entire first season on my flight back from Atlanta last month because it was on the free thing, and I need to watch the rest. I admit I have not finished it, but I watched a hell of a lot more than Eric.
Really,
it is a competition.
And I like that Eric says this isn't his kind of humor.
Yeah. I watched the first episode, maybe part of the second, and I was just Chris Elliott is not my favorite. Not at
I
all.
love Chris Elliott.
And so many people do, and I get that, but I don't get it.
For me, he's the guy under the stairs. He's the conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
I just loved him from the early Letterman days.
But
I will say I found his character very annoying for the first. Like he becomes less annoying in the later seasons when there is less of the antagonistic relationship between him and the Roses. But I would agree in the first couple of episodes he is just.
He also becomes more likable as his wife has a more important role because you sort of like him more because of her.
He was very frustrating, and I was like, you know what, I'm not in the mood to be frustrated right now, and he's frustrating me. And so I might try again, and I just with those first 2 episodes, and I hadn't even looked at Amanda's list to see what to watch. I just was like, no.
You have to watch the first episodes because
to be fair, for season 1, I did have the first episode because you kind of need that background, even if Roland is grating in that episode.
Grating, yeah, that's a good word. And I might try because it is so well talked about, and my coworker has Moira Rose sitting on her desk. And she's a little pop figure. And she looks kind of scary. I'm not sure what.
Well, depending what wig she had on, yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. I thought she was like from a horror movie. I wasn't sure who she was. Now I know. So
interesting. Adam likes the first episode. To be fair, I like it in retrospect now that I've watched more of the show. It's just as an introduction, the fact that none of the characters are likable, I think is a problem.
There are some scenes in the first episode though, like when they're carrying out the picture of them while they're sitting there, sort of almost posed like the picture. Was some really good scenes there.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that I disliked the first episode. It was more just like I knew the premise of the show, and the first episode was like, "Yup, that's what I expected given the premise of the show." It didn't really there were funny moments, but it wasn't like, oh, I see why everyone's obsessed with this show. But,
well, it's like a big ensemble show like that. Once you get to know the characters, whether it's Seinfeld, whether it's Friends, whether it's Schitt's Creek, you would have the multiple storyline type of shows. Once you get to know the characters, the writers have a lot of leeway in how they can do it, and a lot of investment from the fans. In the first season, you don't have that yet, so it's a very different writing style typically.
And I really did like one of my favorite things about the show is all the different directions that they go in with all the different characters. Like from the very first season, I probably would not have predicted where any of the characters' plot lines and where their character growth leads them. One thing I remember reading about when I was getting into the show last year was about David's storyline in particular, and this is possibly spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen the whole show. But David's gay, and I remember reading about the show. I know, shocking.
He's actually pan, by the way. They mentioned it in
that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
But I remember reading some article about it, about how the creators intentionally did not want to make any of the storylines about how either David or his partner's family being homophobic. Like they didn't want homophobia to be just a part of the show at all. They were like, most shows that have non-straight characters are using that as a plot point, as someone has to overcome their homophobia, or we have to overcome the homophobia of your family or something. And they intentionally were like, no, we don't really want to have that in Schitt's Creek. That story has been told a lot. And so everyone's just cool, and they come up with other more interesting, more less seen storylines for David and everyone around him. Which
you're right. They never use the homophobia or the lack of acceptance as a crutch for the humor. They do use, for example, when the guy pulls up in the truck and he's really there for Stevie and David thinks he's there for him. There are times when they use that whole confusion aspect for humor, but they don't use the painful, the prejudice of it for humor.
Yeah.
Now, in the pilot, did they mention that Moira was a former soap opera star?
I don't remember when that gets first brought up.
I feel like it was the second.
I don't remember when.
I feel it was the second or third episode where all of a sudden when she did the slap of Chris Elliott, that's when it was like, oh, okay. So because at first it was just she was just, just
married
his wife,
to a rich tycoon,
she married the tycoon, and that was it.
I feel like I knew that, but I don't know if I caught that in the first episodes that I watched, or if I just heard that through the grapevine.
It came out sometime in the first season because I remembered it. But I like how it's the kind of show that can have some episodes that are very touching, and some episodes that are almost complete slapstick, and sort of carry off both kinds of storyline within the same cast and the same context, which is not always easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about fashion, I think, in passing briefly, but the fashion in the show is just absurd. David has probably potentially one of the more unique wardrobes that I've seen on TV. And Moira with her set of wigs that all have names that she has hanging on the wall in their motel room, and her looking completely different every time. And then Johnny just wearing a suit pretty much the entire season,
Yes,
with
no matter what he's doing.
Exceptions. Yeah. And Alexis always looking very put together with her high heels when she's doing community service work outside.
I don't remember if I heard why the show ended. Was it just because they had
planned to end it at the end of season 5. I think just because that was the story they wanted to tell. And at the end of season 4, they got an offer to renew for 2 new seasons. So they ended up going to season 6, and kind of extending their story. But I think my recollection is that was deliberate on their part.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
It was all shot in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It
Well, yeah,
aired in
Eugene Levy and his family are Canadian.
It was a
Catherine O'Hara's
CBC production.
Canadian. Yeah.
That's
Do we know
where
where
the 20
Schitt's Creek's supposed to be
22
located?
They never really say. Everything I looked up, it just said it's supposed to be somewhere in Canada.
Near Elmdale.
True.
Oh my gosh.
She wears a lot of black and white, Moira. She really does.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh. She doesn't even look like Catherine O'Hara. It's so freaky.
Have you seen the commercial she's doing lately where she's
Yes.
they're in the clothing store and Kevin, and it's Kevin Hart, of course.
Yeah.
She's lost, yes. Who's probably no taller than Macaulay Culkin.
Right.
Oh, he's probably shorter right now.
She also, I think, wears a lot of black and white because when she gets she gets really famous for the Crow movie. So, she kind of has to wear a lot of black and white ones.
The
that
Crows
becomes
have
a thing.
eyes.
Yeah, that's season 5. Yeah, season 5 on. Yes.
I love that plotline.
That's funny.
We should be drinking fruit wine.
Herb Ertlinger.
Herb Ertlinger fruit wine. Yeah.
Herb Erlinger fruit wine.
Well, Eric,
Did we
You're
convince you?
muted.
We can't hear you if you're
Can't hear
talking.
you.
I'm muted. Did I mute myself?
Oh, there
I
you
did.
go.
you
you're
hear
good.
yourself somehow.
Here you now.
I started snoring. No. Honestly,
Listen to your wife.
my wife loves this show, and for me, I feel like it and maybe and this is and to be fair, I've not given this shot, right? To be fair, I've only come in where it's like, I want, when you watch 3 minutes in the middle of a show and you're like, oh, this is cringy because I can tell what's about to happen. I have no concern about the characters. So I equate this. Here's how I equate this. If you watch American Idol from the beginning of an episode, from beginning of a season, by the end of the season, you're like, oh, that Clay Aiken's amazing. I love him so much. I can't wait till he comes up with an album. If you join American Idol just at the end, at the finale, you're like, who the crap are these people? No.
That's an apt analogy. Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm not someone who loves super cringy comedy a lot of the time. Like, I get frustrated in movies when, it's like, oh, I'm trying to pull this off, but I don't want to get caught or everything's going to be ruined, or it's a classic misunderstanding, and then you run out on. Look, I don't love that sort of humor. I do find it stressful.
Isn't that most Hallmark movies?
Well, I mean, but those are such light. I feel like there's movies with that do the cringe plotline that I find very stressful, and I don't find that is a primary source of humor in Schitt's Creek. I might be wrong, and correct me if I missed.
Yeah, I think it's really cringy.
What about While You Were Sleeping?
Yeah, so basically, I've only really seen the humor separate from getting to know any of these characters.
Yeah,
right. So I go in and it's and I'll hear a bit where it's like, there they are setting up the joke that's going to come 15 minutes later in this episode, right? Like, oh, let's hope they don't find out about the secret thing that I'm hiding in the secret thing. And it's like, of course.
Well, it's also when, I never got into Friends. And so whenever I see,
so sad.
Whenever I see somebody do it, I say, hey, doing some Joey thing, and they're laughing hysterically. I'm like, this
that's
is
so
not
Joey.
the slightest bit funny.
Okay.
Without the context,
how you doing?
Nothing there. It's just
exactly, and that's just it. So so I have judged this show unfairly. I will admit that. And I will give a few episodes a shot from the beginning. Because
watch the pilot, watch the first 3.
Yeah,
it's an hour because they're 22 minutes each with no commercials. You're done in 66 minutes.
Like Adam, I did find the Billboard running plot through the first season to be hysterical.
The Billboard's a great one. I almost picked that episode. I was considering that one. I just didn't like the other. It's
okay. It's his sister.
Yeah, it's okay. It's his sister. Yeah.
Check out the one Amanda chose. She chose solid episodes.
Alexis was your soul. I mean, what did she? I have to look up. She constantly called herself an invigorator. That's right. She wasn't an
brand
influencer.
Invigorator. Yeah.
She was an invigorator.
Oh, that's right, brand invigorator.
And so when she's talking about, her critically reviewed movie, so she's someone who's always padding her resume. She's always thinking she's much better than she is. She's fun, but she's not the most likable character in some ways. Yeah, I can see that.
So my family, my wife loves it. My son has watched it twice, the whole thing. My mom just texted, love Schitt's Creek, watched every episode.
Nice.
Wow.
I also don't love Alexis's romance plots in the early seasons, I think.
Yeah.
When she kind of settles and is with somebody more constantly and they can have more other dramas. But the first couple seasons have there's Mutt and then there's Ted and she's kind of switching back. Those plot lines are not the most compelling to me. So I liked her in the later seasons more so.
How many people had their Amazon Echo activated while watching the show?
We did.
Yes, we did once. Yes,
because it says Alexis, and it's like yes. I'm like,
we had that happen just yesterday. I think part of it may be with Alexis too is that because Dan Levy was co-creator of the show, I think he understood Hare's character and the direction he wanted it to go maybe a little better than he was quite sure how he wanted the Alexis character to play out. So I think it took a little while to figure out what her arc was going to be.
All right.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore Eugene Levy's eyebrows. They deserve.
And they're tamed down for this. I feel like they're tamed down a little bit for this show.
I feel like I've been.
Well, especially he's going gray, and the eyebrows are still pitch black, and there's these huge black caterpillars on his face.
They're the Peter Gallagher's.
I was okay with Eugene Levy like American Pie. It's just always the same Eugene Levy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of the same guy.
I'm with Eugene Levy.
Oh, if you'd watched SCTV, you'd feel differently.
No, I did, and he was fine then. But 40 years of Eugene Levy, I'm good. I've seen it. It's okay.
But you don't feel that way about Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal is you don't see Billy Crystal.
Why's your voice up so high, Eric?
I see Billy Crystal's on talk shows all the time.
Talk show, yes. But we're not getting Soap 2022.
That would be a fun show.
He did his Oscar hosting for how many years, and he's done a ton of stuff.
He eventually got to the point where he realized, I think I'm done. I don't think you need to see me in a movie anymore. No,
what was his last movie? Come on, it can't be that long ago.
Now, if you're counting Monsters movies, Monsters Inc., I don't think that counts.
I agree that voiceovers are different. Yes,
I would take.
I'll give you that.
Eugene Levy wants to appear in the next Pixar movie. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Yes, he has not appeared in a movie. You're right. He has not appeared in a movie since 2021. Yeah.
What was he in 2021?
He was in a movie entitled. Hold on, I already moved away. Here Today.
That wildly successful.
Well, just because it wasn't wildly successful doesn't mean he decided I'm done.
I'm just saying.
Just remember, his first role was Joan Rivers' 1978 film Rabbit Test, the story of the world's first pregnant man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was him.
That was Arnold too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Was Arnold in that?
Well, he was in one where he was pregnant. I mean,
With Danny DeVito,
Emma Thompson.
Yes.
Arnold.
I don't remember.
I am pregnant, and it is Christmas.
Oh my God!
Wow.
It's not a tumor.
That's Kindergarten
It's a
Cop,
baby.
another one of his brilliant movies.
This movie had Billy Crystal, Roddy McDowell, Joan Prather, Alex Rocco, Doris Roberts, and Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Written and directed by Joan Rivers.
Pittsburgh's own Michael Keaton.
Yes. Her daughter, Melissa Rivers, has a part, and her husband, Edgar Rosenberg, was the producer. And yes.
And as I recall, she
relation.
invested, Joan Rivers invested a lot in that movie and lost a lot of money on it. It did not do well.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
With a tagline like, "Where do you buy maternity jockey shorts? How could it fail?"
I know. Waka waka.
All right, so the plot for Rabbit Test.
Junior,
Lionel
that's the Arnold
Carpenter.
Schwarzenegger pregnant movie.
Yeah,
Junior.
that's right. That's
Junior, right. Lionel Carpenter is a night school teacher who has bad luck with women. He remains a virgin until his brash cousin, Danny, Alex Rocco, sets him up on a one-night stand. Soon after, he starts feeling nauseated and vomits, eventually doing it into Sognania Svagia and his immigrant students. This turns out to be a blessing in disguise as it gives him an excuse to ask her on a date. How did he get pregnant?
You're overthinking it, Dan.
You might be and I will please do not do an image search for Rabbit Test. See,
I won't.
Save yourself. I'll only share this image, and I tell you that it gets worse after this.
Yes, the way they used to check for pregnancy. Did the rabbit die? Yes.
Ooh, man,
a lot of dead rabbits.
Yeah,
actually, that looks like that looks like the front of your house growing up, Eric. Bunch of rabbits parked in front.
Oh man!
Wow! Wow!
I drove by there yesterday. I drove by the old Schemer household.
Absolutely.
You don't have the Schitt's Creek theme music stuck in your head?
Well, I've not watched it, so I have no idea.
It's pretty simple.
Well, there you go.
No music in that whole show other than the little bit at the beginning. No
Also,
laugh
just
track, no music.
Totally off subject, I guess. I did enjoy. It was mentioned. I didn't really bring it up though. Back in Rushmore, the music was really awesome. When they started to play "Ooh La La" at the end over the closing credits, I was like, this is one of my all-time favorite songs by the Small Faces. So I was like, oh yeah.
Now, my wife likes Schitt's Creek, but she very in particular after that movie said, "That's the worst music in a movie I've ever seen." That was very interesting. And she called out how much she hated the music in Rushmore.
I love the music in that.
I just think that's an interesting.
Eric, Adam, you referring to this show as Hit a Wall?
I think that's what he said.
I assume that's what he. And I don't think he means this episode. I mean in general. It's just
to just stop at this point.
Just jumping the shark now. Yeah.
We're done.
We should do Happy
the
Days.
final EriDan show.
We should do Happy Days so people understand where the phrase "jump the shark" came from.
Oh, that would be fun. Well, there's always next one. All right. Well, do we want to take a moment to talk about anything else that people have watched, or do we want to end it now?
We can talk about that quickly if you like.
We watched the Christmas Story Christmas.
HBO, right?
Yes.
It had a free preview, I think, that ends the day.
Yeah, but the preview did not include the Christmas Story Christmas.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, it was really mean. So there was $1.99 a month for 3 months plan.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah, so we took that and we watched it, and we really have good things to say about it.
Wow.
It's definitely worth watching.
Can we make that one of the Christmas movies? If get
people
picked?
can get it, that's the thing. If people can get HBO, if everybody has it,
find HBO. If they need to find it, they'll find it.
Yeah, that's true. It's worth watching. I remember last week people were like, "Oh, I don't know." If you're a Christmas Story fan, you'll appreciate it.
The original house is now up for sale again.
I know. Mm-hmm. I heard that just yesterday.
What if you weren't such a fan of Christmas Story?
Then you probably won't care. It wouldn't. But it's not a bad movie. It's not put together poorly. They really did a nice job of blending it from the old into the new, and the characters and storyline. They did a nice job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing but good things to say about it.
Awesome.
Well, my current obsession, when I should have been watching Schitt's Creek, was watching for the third time the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah, we watched it too. Let me get my phone.
Oh
in
my
there. There we go.
god.
Wow.
It's
Where did
so,
that air?
it's so good.
Where was that? Was
Where
that
did that air?
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Disney
yeah.
Plus, 40 minutes. So it's not eligible. I would not put it up for a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but it's definitely worth watching.
Oh, it's so good.
It was funny.
It's
took a
funny.
shower.
It's really well done. Honestly, maybe one of the better things of all of Phase 4.
Better than the Star Wars holiday special?
Definitely better than the Hollywood Spirit. Definitely better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mhm. Yeah,
that was
yeah.
so
Better than the
yeah.
Eternals. It's so good. It's just charming. It's charming in every way and handled so well in every way. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough.
It was amusing.
It
The
was.
parts I saw.
I loved it so much.
Good.
I'll watch it again now. It's and the music from it is fantastic.
Mhm.
Unlike, no, I'm kidding. Unlike Rushmore, no. Honestly, I was irrelevant. The music for me it just didn't strike either way for me in Rushmore. My wife, for some reason, really had a problem with it. It does focus. The story does focus very heavily on, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's interesting. I think that makes it unique.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe I'll watch it.
the music's so good.
I'm still watching. I'm trying to figure out the best Law and Order, not any of the sub Law and Orders. I think it's Lenny Briscoe is definitely the best, one of the best detectives.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's Benjamin Bratt. I think it is. And I think it's the Jack McCoy with Angie Harmon. I think that's that four. I think that's the best of all seasons.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
It's such a good show. It's my new fall asleep show. Then I have weird dreams.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
I bet.
Okay, describe the setup for you. So, how are you falling asleep with this? Is it playing out into the room? Is it your headphones? Is it like
depends on where I am. At the hotel the other night, I had it on my phone on the nightstand. The phone was plugged in. My glasses were off, so I couldn't see it. I was just the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's and I have it on Peacock. There's no commercials. If I watch old versions that are on YouTube TV that I recorded, then I have commercials.
I can't sleep with something I find interesting. And yes, I'm really derailing the show now, but I'm curious for this discussion, which is I find that I can sleep. I enjoy voices while I go to sleep, but usually I just let the voices in my head go. No, usually I listen to a podcast that is just the right level of boring.
Yeah.
That I can fall asleep and I don't like, I missed it. But if I'm listening to anything interesting, I'm like, wait, who killed them? Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I can't possibly fall asleep for that.
See, I have the opposite. Normally, like it used to be Seinfeld. I've done Arrested Development. It's just certain shows that I've seen so many times. It's like comfort TV.
Right.
Knocks me out. Now, if there's a show I really, really want to watch and I start watching it, I'm out. Like I fall asleep, even though I want to watch it.
Really?
Yeah. And reading one page in, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm there too.
That must make learning the script
It's hard. It's hard to get through seminary that way.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep all the time while I'm writing.
Would make it a lot harder.
Is that why you do all your with Rafi or Eric, because you need somebody to keep waking you up instead of just nodding off?
Yes, this show is with Eric and the Clutch Radio, which we did, as Adam did say, he was happy he got a pre-recorded Clutch Radio earlier in the week. We recorded Friday night.
Very nice.
We almost went live Friday night just for shits and giggles, and then just re-aired that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. That Amanda, or I think Jen brushed on it. Because Colbert, for a while, when he would talk about Schitt's Creek, he had the requirement from the CBS censors that he could say the name of the show, but only if they then put it up in text on the screen while he said it.
Ah.
Which is just the most stupid thing in the world.
I know they say shit all the time on TV now.
I know.
But not on CBS.
You gotta know the C's there, otherwise who knows what you're saying.
Otherwise, somebody
It's that double T that makes it okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You
I
might
mean,
think
obviously,
it's really shitty creek. No one wants
it came
that.
from up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what the family was. And then they, yeah.
Isn't there a show called Without a Paddle? Am I wrong about that?
No, I remember that.
That's what I thought.
What'd you say, Eric?
Isn't there a show called Without a Paddle?
Yes.
Oh, was there?
Yes.
Quite the same show.
It was a while ago.
I don't know why I would remember such a thing.
Yeah, you don't remember anything.
Actually, it looks like it was a movie.
Maybe.
Movie Without a Paddle. Starring we are way off the rails. Seth Green and Matthew Lillard.
Oh,
wow!
A very B-list cast.
Why did I think that was a show? That's from 2004. Wow.
Well.
All right, so we have 2 movies for next week.
We do have 2 movies. We're going.
And then are we going to be picking a new TV show next week, or is that later?
That would be for next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So a holiday themed TV show. No, I'm kidding. All the Charlie Brown specials.
I already did Pee Wee's Christmas, and only Adam and I liked it. So
that's
that
was rough.
What
That's
are the
why I have
movies
to defend Adam sometimes. He was the only guy besides me who liked Pee Wee. So
that's true.
Okay.
Adam, at various times, Adam has come to everybody's defense at one point or another, or been on Adam's the same page.
Adam, I've got the link for the screening on Bainbridge. Are you back on the 14th? I have to send Adam the link to get his tickets.
There you go.
Can we repeat the movie so I can type them in here?
This would be Jingle All the Way.
That's right.
That's Cody's fault.
Arnold and Miracle on 34th Street.
2 very similar movies.
From
That's Eric's fault.
1947.
Yep. Absolutely.
Please watch the 1947 version.
Yes, the Natalie Wood version.
Honestly, I will honestly, I don't mind the version that came out later.
Well, they've done multiple versions because there was a Sebastian Cabot version that was from like the 80s or so. And then they've done a couple remakes since on various platforms.
And then there was a version in 1994
with the girl from Matilda.
Yes, yeah.
There was.
Who's now out of acting.
CNN just did a whole thing about holiday movies. It was like a 1 or 2 hour special, and they went through all kinds of holiday movies, and some of them were like they had The Apartment listed as a Christmas movie.
What?
And we watched The Apartment.
That was not a Christmas movie. It had Christmas in it.
Part of it takes place at Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's not a Christmas
movie at Christmas time.
But they did have it did say Die Hard as a Christmas
So
movie.
here's my prediction: is that this will do better than the last time I got to choose a Christmas movie.
Yes, I completely agree.
I feel pretty confident that this will do better than Mixed Nuts. And I think that was the last Christmas movie I chose, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made you take a year off.
We take last year off. I totally understand. I still stand by Mixed Nuts, but that's a whole different story. But,
that's all right. Nobody liked Pee Wee either, so
See, exactly. We all, but but you had a bond with Adam, so there you go. All right. I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. You've got your marching orders. I hope you enjoy. Thank you, Rebecca. So great to actually see you instead of seeing the comments.
Great to have an excuse to watch a Wes Anderson movie. I appreciated that.
Absolutely. So we're grateful. We love you all. We hope you have a lovely week. We will see you back here next Monday night. Monday night, 8:00.
Yeah.
Good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.